ఫ్రెండ్స్, వెల్కమ్ బ్యాక్ టు మంజు అండ్ర ఛానల్. ఈరోజు ఎక్కడికి వెళ్తున్నాం తెలుసా? గ్రేట్ గ్రేట్ ఏం మాట్లాడినా పాపం ఇండియాలో వైరల్ అయిపోయి RGV గారిని మీట్ అవ్వబోతుంటా. మేము పర్సనల్గా ఏం మీట్ అవ్వట్లేదు, జస్ట్ ఒక ప్రోగ్రామ్ ఉంది, ఆ ప్రోగ్రామ్కి అయితే వెళ్తున్నాము. మేబీ అంటే ఫోటో అంటే కుదరదు మాట్లాడడానికి, అట్లాగా మనం ఫొటోస్కి అయినా కూడా ఛాన్స్ ఉంటుందా లేదా అని తెలియదు. ఉంటే తీసుకుంటాం మంచిది, లేదంటే ప్రోగ్రామ్ చేసేసి వస్తాము. సో ఇలా రెడీ అయ్యాను నేనైతే సింపుల్గా. అదే ప్రోగ్రామ్ కదా, అంటే ఒక ఈవెంట్ లాగా కాదు, అది జస్ట్ హోమ్స్ గురించి కదా.
మీట్ అండ్ గ్రీట్ మార్టగేజ్ వాళ్ళు పెడుతున్నారు.
మార్టగేజ్ వాళ్ళు పెడుతున్నారు. సో అది నార్మల్ ప్రోగ్రాము. సో కాకపోతే ఇంకా మన యాక్టర్స్, మన ఇండియన్ యాక్టర్స్ని వచ్చినప్పుడు మీట్ అవ్వదామని వెళ్తున్నాను. చూద్దాం, కుదిరితే ఫోటో తీసుకుంటాను, లేదంటే లేదు. ఎక్కడికి వచ్చామంటే చర్చికి వచ్చాము. చర్చిలో ఉంటాం మీట్. నిజంగా ఈవెన్ నాకు ఇక్కడికి వచ్చే ఈ స్పాట్కి వచ్చేంతవరకు కూడా తెలియదు చర్చిలో ఉంది అని చెప్పేసి. చూస్తే చర్చ్ చాలా దిస్ ఈజ్ ఆఫీస్ అవర్. సో హలో, ఎక్స్క్యూజ్ మీ, హీరో లాగున్నారు, ఎవరండి మీరు? మా ఆయన్ని అడగల, హీస్ నాట్ హియర్. ఓకే, అలా వేసారు యాక్చువల్గా. గమనించారు, ఇలా ఉన్నాయి. సో ఇక్కడ RSVP రిజిస్ట్రేషన్. సే హాయ్. ఇప్పుడే చెప్పింది నువ్వు.
బాగా ఎక్సైట్మెంట్ ఫీల్ అవుతుంది.
ప్రోగ్రాము 5 to 10. నా టైమ్ ఈజ్ 6. 5 to 10 అక్క మెన్షన్ చేసింది. 5 to 10 మన ఇద్దరం గొడవ పెట్టుకుంటానంటే, నేను చూసిన దాంట్లో 5 to 10 ఉన్నిందండి, 6 to 10 కాదు. సో 5 to 10 ఉందని చెప్పేసి మనం 5 కన్నా కాకపోయినా 6 కన్నా వెళ్తే 1 hour లేట్ అయినా కూడా వెళ్ళొచ్చు అన్న ఉద్దేశంలో స్టార్ట్ అయ్యాము. బట్ ఇక్కడ ఎవరు ఇంకా రాలేదు. యాక్చువల్ సమ్ వీడియోస్, రీల్స్ తీసుకుందాం అనుకుని వచ్చాను, బట్ రాలేదు. ఫంక్షన్ హాల్ అయితే చూపించేస్తున్నానండి మీకు కూడా, ఎలా ఉంటుంది ఏంటి అనేది. ఇది ఏంటంటే ఒక చర్చ్లో జరిగింది. మీరు ముందు వీడియో చూసుంటారు, చర్చ్ అని చెప్పాను కదా, చర్చ్లో జరిగింది. సో C4D అనే మార్టగేజ్ వాళ్ళు ఇక ఫంక్షన్ ఆర్గనైజ్ చేశారు. బికాస్ ఎందుకంటే తనకు RGV అంటే ఇష్టం అంట. సో కాబట్టి ఇంకా యూఎస్కి వచ్చాడని తెలుసుకొని ఇన్వైట్ చేశారు, ఇన్వైట్ చేశారు RGV గారిని. అండ్ అలాగే ఫ్రెండ్స్ని, మిగతా వాళ్ళని కూడా కొంతమంది ఇన్వైట్ చేశారు. సో అక్కడ ఫుడ్ కూడా పెట్టారు వాళ్ళు. సో దిస్ ఈజ్ మై ప్లేట్. మొత్తానికి RGV అయితే వచ్చేసారు. సో ఇంక అందరూ వెళ్ళేసి హాయ్ చెప్తూ, షేక్ హ్యాండ్ ఇస్తూ, అందరూ ఎలాగో తక్కువ మంది కాబట్టి, క్రౌడ్ ఏం లేదు కాబట్టి నిదానంగానే ప్రతి ఒక్కరికి ఒక హాయ్ చెప్పడం కానీ, లేకపోతే ఫోటో దిగడం కానీ ఛాన్స్ అనేది వచ్చింది. సో అందరూ స్టార్ట్ చేసేసారు అప్పుడే ఫోటోలు దిగడం మాత్రం. సో దాని తర్వాత ఆర్గనైజర్స్ రిక్వెస్ట్ చేశారు ప్రతి టేబుల్ దగ్గరికి వెళ్ళేసి ఫోటో ఇవ్వచ్చని. అందుకని అందరికీ ఛాన్స్ వచ్చింది ఫోటో ఇవ్వడానికి. ఇంకొద్ది క్షణాల్లో RGV గారు మాట్లాడతారు, చూసేయండి వీడియో.
Where boundaries are shattered and norms are questioned, but creativity is at its peaks. This is the man, the myth, the legend, no introduction needed. RGV garu. Welcome.
Thank you everyone, and I don't know who organized this, and absolutely, but I want to thank him. Since you have given me an old boring man to talk to, this pretty beautiful girl is there. I want to thank him for that also.
So nice to meet you again.
Hi.
So I'm going to start with a pretty generic question. How do you like Michigan? Usually celebrities aane vallu Michigan ke ekku raru compared to other states. So you've been in a lot of states at the moment, and how is it different? Do we treat you different than other people, or ella?
See, to be very frank, in the context of a place, I'm not so much into places, and eventually, no matter how great a place is, you get used to it within minutes. It's eventually the people who you meet and how you interact with makes the point. And I'm very happy with all the people who met here. Yes, so that's my impression. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And I heard that 20 years తర్వాత మీరు మళ్ళీ యూఎస్కి వచ్చారు. సో అప్పటికి ఉన్న రియాక్షన్, మీ ఫ్యాన్స్ ఫాలోవర్స్ రియాక్షన్ అండ్ ఇప్పటికి ఏమైనా తేడా కనిపిస్తుందా? ఐ థింక్ లైక్ ఫిలిం క్రేజ్ ఉండొచ్చు కదా లైక్ బ్యాక్ దెన్.
I think, the main difference I see when I last, not really, because I've realized over the years that you can learn from, you can try to learn from your old mistakes, but you'll make new mistakes.
Of course.
And everything what you do is different, so there's no point really in introspecting.
Okay. I like that answer. Honestly, I think the youth needs to hear that because I think nowadays we do depend on validation from outside, and I think that if we do follow, not giving crap about what people say, we would succeed better in life. And the country will focus on what we do, Kada. So is that what Ramuism is about?
Can you just repeat the question?
Sorry. So the youth today, we do depend on validation a lot because, when we do something, we look for, is this right or is this wrong, and see how people react to that. Adi pakkana pette, do we reach success better, or like whether do we have to, like, do we need people's validation?
I see that's the whole point. See, first of all, people is a label. Everyone is different and everyone's sensitivity and taste is different. So it's going to be very, when expecting everyone to like, which is what people come under as a label, And no matter what you do, there will be people who disagree or agree or like or dislike, the best what you can, and hopefully enough people will appreciate it. That's just a hope. You can't really guarantee that. But one thing I feel you should not do at all is to look for people's validation. Because then you're living for other people's judgment over you, and you will have a miserable life for the rest of your life. Yeah.
That does make sense. Thank you so much. So now going back to your sensational movie, Shiva, obviously like the interview would be incomplete if we didn't bring up this movie, but the knuckle chain scene. You came up with this at that time, way back 30 years ago, and I already think that that's way ahead of your time because I don't think people like came up with something like that back then. I was watching your movies and I was like, this is crazy. This is what people do now. So, that scene became popular, and then a lot of people told me that back then our scene chusi chala college kids inspire ayyaru, and they started a lot of fights, and ade knuckle chain scene toni they were fighting and creating a trend. So meer a trend create chesinanduku do you feel proud or do you feel like grateful or ledha emana guilty ante?
See, to start with, I think you got the facts wrong. I can understand it because you're young. The point is, I didn't create the trend. I copied from what's happening in real life. Those weapons were used at that time. So I was the first guy to put it on film.
Gotcha.
I didn't invent it.
Okay.
Yeah. And this whole thing of people copying the trend also, I think it's exaggerated because a cycle chain is a very impractical weapon. If you swing it, most probably it will hit you. Yeah. But I think visually it looks effective, so people just imagine that everyone was using, everyone used it. Yeah.
Okay. So, well, that is happening in real life. So, coming to that inspiration part, I also heard that a lot of IAS students cracked their interviews and figured it out based on who you are as a person. Ramuism, me philosophy in Tiskoni Valu, they passed those exams, they passed those interviews. What do you feel about that as a trend? Like Meeru chesna impact influence?
See, to start with, I don't really have any respect for people who study a lot because anybody who studies don't come up in life. Most of the time. And the IAS people are already always ruled by illiterate people, mainly the politicians. So I think there's no big deal. Yeah.
This is a personal question. Why do you not like people who study a lot? I study a lot. I'm a psychology neuroscience major.
No, I'm saying throughout my college years, I've never seen anybody who studies a lot coming up in life. I just not told you that, yeah. all the backbenchers become successful. Yeah.
I will keep that in mind. Dad, are you listening? But I would say that creating such ideas, and getting that inspiration from real life, I think that's what, inspired people as well to keep going. So thank you for that. And I have another question. This is based on my personal interest. I heard that you are very much into crime and true crime scenes and
I'm into crime. What's that?
Sorry?
I'm into crime.
No, sorry, crime. I mean like crime, true crime movies and...
I'm not saying I'm not, but my question is, how did you come to know? Unless you're a criminal yourself. So that's an inside secret, yeah.
Yes, I'm interested in crime. Why? Because again, like I said, I'm a neuroscience and psychology student, so I do watch a lot of true crime documentaries and crime movies to just understand why they behave, the way they do. So I saw a lot of your interviews and onstage responses where they said that you are interested in creating movies as such. Did this happen as you were in the movie industry where your interest peaked, or did something target that, your interest, spike your interest, or like what the ideas local unde vachaya for these kind of movies?
See, because I know about crime in my college days, in school days actually. See, I was always interested in criminal psychology, and anybody, like my first heroes were bullies in the class, who pull hair and who throw chalk pieces at the teacher. They were my inspiration in the very beginning. And then it moved on to street gundas. And then it graduated into gangsters and terrorists. So it was like when you were graduating and post-graduating, I was going through criminals.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and also cops, incidentally, yeah.
Okay, so...
Because they both are on two sides of the same. Yeah.
So you weren't a part of this though. You didn't experience it firsthand. You were just observing from afar.
Yeah, if your question is, did I do a crime? No. But I learned so much and I observed from observation and understanding. I can be a very good consultant for a new criminal who wants to make his career. I think he will never get anyone better than me.
Wonderful. Yes, I also did hear that for IAS training or whatever, they called you in for a speech about criminals. I saw it on an interview.
Not really, I guess. There is, post 9/11 attacks, and the US intelligence agencies felt there was a lack of, it was not a failure of intelligence, it was a failure of imagination, that they could never imagine that something like this can happen. So world over, the policing systems try to interact with creative people to come up with various scenarios of what the next terrorist attack can be, or they might be able to think, to check the systems whether they're in place to, stop that or something. Yeah. So in that context, the Bombay police have once called me. Yeah.
Wonderful. It's amazing to know that the filmmakers and inspiration in every other career, like that is crazy. So మీరు ఎంతమందికి ఇన్స్పిరేషన్ అయినప్పుడు మీకు కూడా ఒక ఇన్స్పిరేషన్, one of the inspirations I heard is Ayn Rand. And since you're here in US, are you going to, or did you visit her cemetery? And my question, I asked that question is because, do you believe that after death that person is just done, like full stop, and you don't carry that sentiment to go visit them and pay homage?
See, because I'm not into the places where they lived. I would like to go into their mind. That's where the whole point is, And considering Ayn Rand, yes, at a point of time when I read The Fountainhead in Atlas Shrugged, she made a major influence on me, no doubt about it.
Of course.
And I was emotional sometimes because I remember when I watched this documentary on her called A Sense of Life, which is on YouTube. I actually started crying, and why I cried is because I realized that I was so happy that she existed,
Yeah.
That's the nearest homage or compliment I can pay. Yeah. But having said that, I don't want to see a place, or maybe, for example, when Sridevi died, I was the only person who didn't go to see the body because I didn't want to see her dead. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're saying ekkadunna kuda mana respects pay cheyadam, it's the same value of visiting them.
I mean, no need to pay respects. I mean, the fact that see, a person who's dead and you're talking about him or her, which basically means that they left something for you, and what is left is their ideas, their thoughts and their actions, so they become a part of you. So you don't need to really alienate them and see them as to pay your respects.
I absolutely love that explanation. I think I'm going to carry this and put it forward. So we love to get to know you personally, and before we move into our movie interview question related to that, I think we're taking a break.